The government is putting together a team of mostly retired police officers to act as a COVID enforcement team. I have confirmed through a former RCMP officer, who wishes to remain anonymous for now, that emails are being sent to retired RCMP officers offering positions for pandemic response jobs at the national level.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Saskatchewan is often described as the land of living skies. I'm wondering if right now a better label might be land of watchful eyes. That might sound a little cheesy, but hear me out. Recently, the Prairie Province made headlines over the creation of a COVID enforcement team to assist in the enforcement and transportation of people who defied COVID-19 related public health orders. Transportation to where, you ask? Why, a secure isolation facility, of course. And as a bonus, the government also has a handy online reporting system for citizens to report either individuals or businesses in non-compliance. For hall monitor and bully types everywhere, this is your time to shine. Isolation centres across the province of Saskatchewan have been used for several months to house people who need a place to self-isolate due to COVID-19. For the most part, this is voluntary, although there are people who have been detained. However, the Saskatchewan Health Authority is ramping that process up and designating the isolation site at Saskatchewan Hospital in North Battleford as the detainment centre for those who have gone against public health orders. According to a 77-page document explaining the details of this program, a secure isolation site is defined as a locked facility in which persons issued a detention order under the Public Health Act are detained. They also state the site is neither a hospital nor a health centre. Rather, it is a detention centre with a mobile health clinic. Yet interestingly, as noted in an article done by 620 CKRM in Saskatoon, those who are transferred to this facility will not be called detainees, despite fitting that description. Rather, will be referred to as clients. Well, that sounds much nicer, doesn't it? To assist in this process, the government is putting together a team of mostly retired police officers to act as a COVID enforcement team. They will be responsible both for enforcing public health measures such as mask and vaccine mandates, as well as transporting citizens to the secure isolation site, whether for being rule breakers or refusing to self-isolate despite a medical health officer having deemed it necessary. So how much will this all cost? I have confirmed through a former RCMP officer, who wishes to remain anonymous for now, that emails are being sent to retired RCMP officers offering them Saskatchewan COVID enforcement positions. The proposed wage for such roles? $38 an hour. These are contract positions, but for a better idea on what that salary would look like annually, if you were assuming a 40-hour work week, it is approximately $79,000 a year. Similar COVID enforcement jobs at the national level, at airports and border crossings, for example, are paid between a level PM4 and PM6, which is about $70,000 to $114,000 per year. That's no small staffing budget and doesn't include administrative staff or facility costs. The 77-page project document outlines a few minor costs associated, but not a full budget. And remember, this is all at a cost to the taxpayers. Thus, I feel compelled to ask, could this money not have been spent on healthcare, such as ICU surge capacity, the expedient training of healthcare workers, etc., rather than punitive measures? Will this actually have better health outcomes than injecting those funds directly into the health system? Isn't this about our health? As for that snazzy reporting form for citizens to tell on businesses or individuals, it is located on the Saskatchewan.ca website and can be accessed by any citizen, although apparently only claims made from those who provide their name and contact info will be taken seriously, while anonymous claims will not. Hopefully this will at least minimize false claims and avoid personal vendettas from getting in the way. However, I have some major questions about all of this, so I wrote to the Saskatchewan Health Authority last week. My email was transferred to Chris Clement with the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency. I essentially asked, number 1, how much discretion is given to police and public health officers? Number 2, is there an appeal process for detainees? Number 3, what safeguards will be put in place to ensure people are not using this citizen reporting form for personal vendettas? And number 4, can you provide comment to those who are concerned that this is heavy-handed, as this does not appear to be a common strategy in other democratic Western countries? Chris replied, advising he would develop some answers for me. However, I have not yet heard back as of the date of this report beyond that. Thankfully, some of the answers can be found in the document I've discussed. First, the process by which officers enforce the laws is mostly described in detail in the project document, especially in flowcharts, as well as in various public health orders, though the discretion element is ill-defined. Also, with regards to my question about the appeal process, on page 62 it states that clients have the right to appeal the detention order to the Court of Queen's Bench. What I'm not sure about is whether the person is stuck there to fight it, even if their appeal is eventually accepted as valid, or if they are compensated for their wrongful admission to such a facility, which I feel are important questions. As for my question about whether this might be heavy-handed as a government approach, that seems to be a matter of opinion. However, as time passes, we are watching other countries and regions, often countries with generally incredible health outcomes like Norway and Denmark, handle this pandemic in very different ways. Does this not make one wonder if our way is necessary, ethically right, or beneficial? Finally, perhaps the most important question of all, though I didn't bother to ask because I don't think anybody heading up this project knows the answer, and it is more subjective anyway. What kind of damage will this do to our society? I wish more people, citizens, politicians, and bureaucrats alike, who claim to care about our health, would ask that question. My sincere hope is that this does not further erode the foundation of trust that Saskatchewan's neighbourly citizens are used to. But I fear the worst. This seems a lot like the snitch lines set up in other countries and communist regimes of old. And just like now, such ideas were often claimed to be for the greater good. I suppose time will tell as to whether these practices truly are positive for our province, but this Saskatchewan is not convinced. I don't know about you, but the idea of giving up your neighbor, friends, or even family to the state gives me a chill down my spine. And this doesn't feel like it is for our health. Just because Canada has not known the tyranny that many countries have experienced does not make it immune to such human experiences. Will our actions only serve to bring satisfaction to those bullies who enjoy watching those they disagree with suffer? Will they further divide us? What will this cost us, financially and otherwise? And has fear tainted the better judgment of even the independent, close-knit prairie folk who normally would find this all unconscionable? Time shall tell. I promise I will keep you updated as this story continues to unfold. For Rebel News in Saskatchewan, I'm Kelly Lamb. To help us in our legal battle against those who have received COVID-19 fines, please visit fightthefines.com.